Village Board meeting to order, August 28th, 2023, and we'll have a roll call.
Anastasio?
Here.
Batia?
Here.
Washburn?
Here.
Doxey?
Here.
DeGroot?
He's here. And next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. We'd be so honored if Speaker Voss would lead the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And as I just mentioned, we're honored to have Speaker Voss here. And Speaker Voss, if you'd like to come to the podium and just give us a little bit of a legislative update.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Even though it is summer, it seems like it was just a short time ago that we finished the state budget, and now we're beginning to see all the fruits of the good work that was done inside that document. Of course, we know the budget was introduced in January by Governor Evers. It was changed over the course of the process, and we had a pretty dramatic increase in certain areas of the budget. We had the largest increase in spending on K-12 education in a generation. We had a huge expansion of school choice, which will really help the community here in Racine. And most importantly, probably for the village and an awful lot of municipalities, we worked hand in hand with the League of Municipalities, especially those in Milwaukee and Milwaukee County, because of all the challenges that they have regarding their own now hopefully solved financial cliff. And we were able to have a long-term investment in local government. I think I remember the last time I was here, you talked about two topics that you believed were the most challenging for the village. One was making sure you had enough funding to pay for regular municipal services, police, fire, but also to make sure we have the resources to fix our roads and invest in long-term infrastructure. And the second thing you talked about was some of the challenges around housing. Now, Mount Pleasant, to its credit, has already done quite a bit to adopt a lot of innovations that I think are going to be good for Racine County in the long run. But we were able to put together a package that ran in tandem with the budget. That'll be the largest investment ever in the state of Wisconsin for increasing multifamily and single-family housing. And that's all based on a couple simple concepts. One, like I say, you're kind of the better angel of how it looks. But what we wanted to do was to say that if people are willing to invest in regulatory reform by saying we don't necessarily need to have every single community look the exact same, that the state of Wisconsin wants to be a partner. So we are going to offer long-term low-interest loans or zero-interest loans. WEDA is just coming out with some guidance. I think it came out last week, and they'll be updating that as we go along. So my hope is that communities all across the state will have an opportunity to help build affordable housing. And when I say affordable, it's not low income. I know I've heard concerns from people who have contacted my office worried that we're going to have a huge increase in low-income housing. We need that. So that is certainly a part of the mix, but it's really affordable housing, which would mean a family that earns $100,000. So it might be two teachers, two firefighters, two people who are both working that just want to be able to have a home that they can't have right now. I'm sure you already know our demand in Racine County, especially in southeastern Wisconsin, is significantly more than the amount of available housing stock. At my own company, one of our HR people spends most of her time trying to help our employees find places to rent, to be able to find places to afford. So it's a big challenge for employers too. So that will be coming online over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. The other part that we were successful in putting in the budget is our innovation fund. We talked about that last time. The innovation fund would allow any municipalities to work together to consolidate services, and the state of Wisconsin would be a partner to help increase funding for the increased shared services. So I think that's going to be something that an awful lot of municipalities will take advantage of. And then lastly, I think the village is getting almost $1 million.
Yes, we
Yeah.
had a 105% increase.
Yeah.
Over
Yep,
last
so that's
year,
good.
so thank you.
I think it's all because of the work of whoever was heading up the League of Municipalities. I'm just going to say, I don't want to say her name, but, it's really an awful lot of hard work, though, but literally from the league. They did a great job. The Towns Association, a little bit less, but they were involved. And then, of course, the County Association, which really also helped to spearhead it. So thank you. It would not have happened without a good partnership of a lot of people stepping up saying we have to fix this, and now we just have to keep it sustainable, because in the budget we have now permanently dedicated 1% of the 5% sales tax that will automatically grow over time. So that'll be a good thing for all of us to help keep down property taxes.
And this was truly historic on your part. You really led this. We came together as the village board came together about 2 years ago, I think, and hosted you in this very room. Yep. And you were incredibly responsive to us when we demonstrated to you that we had an issue. We were borrowing for roads, as you all remember. And this was truly historic. To have a 105% increase over last year is just remarkable. Yeah,
and it's in some places, I will be honest and say that I still believe that the shared revenue program as it's currently constructed, I would still reform that if I could, because far too much of it goes to very large cities. And look, they have issues, legitimate issues, but I would do something on a more of a per capita basis so that, the village of Mount Pleasant shouldn't get, 10% of what, it's actually less than that, of what the city of Racine does. It should get, about a third, because the city of Racine has 3 times the people, but that's not how our formula works.
No,
so
and
it's
we're
an
not
improvement.
Complaining. We were
Yeah.
at 300,000 and we're at 600,000,
Yep.
so we're moving in a good direction.
Yep, exactly. And that's where, in the long run, that's the next thing I hope we will look at as a legislature to say, the formula, as I'm sure you remember, there were 2 parts to it. The old formula, which we didn't change because we knew Governor Evers wouldn't sign it unless we had a big increase for large municipalities. And then the new dollars that we put in were kind of helping to skew the system a little bit more fairly. It's still not where it should be, but it's certainly better.
And certainly using that kind of revenue source when it's sales tax was absolutely outstanding. You knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, thank you.
It didn't harm anyone. It raised all boats, right? Isn't that the goal of any good legislation? It didn't hurt anyone, it helped everyone.
That's exactly right. And there were some things in the budget that we're not quite finished with yet. So you saw Governor Evers vetoed our income tax cut. So we still have about $4 billion in the general fund. That we are going to be announcing later this week. A tax plan. I'm not going to announce it now, but we'll be announcing it soon, and you will see what our plans are for that we can hopefully take up in the fall legislative session. We're also going to look at some things for childcare. Governor Evers, you'll hear he's been talking a lot about childcare, and what he wants to do is they had federal dollars that came in, and they increased the wages of childcare workers for, I think it was a year and a half. So at some point, the state of Wisconsin cannot pay the child care workers' wages forever out of existing income and sales tax dollars. So he would like to continue that program for another year, and then it would kind of drop off after a year. What we're looking to do is something that's more holistic and trying to increase the supply. One simple example is that in the state of Minnesota, which I would not say is some right-wing ideologue, right? Minnesota allows a lower ratio of teachers to pupils. So they can actually have a larger number of kids with the same number of child care workers than we can. If we just went to the Minnesota number, it would increase our slots by about 1/3. So we're trying to look for some things like that are low cost. We're still looking to get, I think we're going to start, one of the bills we're talking about would be a loan program. So if somebody wants to expand their child care center, the state would help to partner with them if they can't get a bank loan. So we're trying to find things that will increase supply, because when I talk to most employers, that's a challenge for them to be able to have workers, period. Child care is one aspect, transportation's another, housing's a third. There are an awful lot of things, but especially with demographic challenges now. I was just reading an article in The Economist talking about the huge issue that we are having with low population and low number of workers. So we've got to do the best we can to attract people to live here. They're going to come from somewhere else where they're trying to do the exact same thing. So if we're not innovative, we're going to have challenges in the long run.
Village President's got the best job of the night.
Right. Is there any questions for Robin first?
No, thank you for all you do, Robin.
Thank you,
We
Nancy.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
You
Appreciate
take good
that.
care of Racine County and the state of Wisconsin. I know it's not easy, but
Thank you.
You are not excused yet.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow.
So Robin, we just wanted to show you a little of appreciation because as Maureen mentioned, we had an ask. You listened to the ask, you caucused, You got, what do you call it? Where the two sides agree.
Bipartisan.
Bipartisan agreement on it.
Yep.
So, all the right things happened, and not only our village benefits from it, but so many other communities our size and smaller have benefited as well. The money makes a difference. And so, in view of that, we thought that we'd show you a little bit of love, and so I've got a proclamation that I'm going to read. It's legalese, of course, so that means it's tiny, and I have to squint, but...
You're not that old.
This is a proclamation declaring Speaker Robin Voss Day in the village of Mount Pleasant. Whereas our community has long thrived on the spirit of collaboration and growth. Whereas Representative Voss was first elected as Mount Pleasant's representative to the Wisconsin State Assembly in 2004 and is an engaged member of the community. And whereas Representative Voss proves to be a catalyst for positive change and a steadfast champion of both the Mount Pleasant community and the state of Wisconsin's aspirations, and is always willing to listen, engage, and advocate for our collective vision. And whereas Representative Voss recognizes the vital importance that public safety and economic development have on the quality of life and the overall betterment of our community, as well as throughout the state. And whereas Representative Voss authored Assembly Bill 245 in 2023, which became Wisconsin Act 12, that results in a recurring shared revenue increase not only to the village of Mount Pleasant, but to all municipalities in the state of Wisconsin. And now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Village President David DeGroot, along with the Village Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim August 28th, 2023 as Robin Voss Day in the village of Mount Pleasant in honor of our gratitude for his invaluable support in championing the local initiative of our village, which have made a profound impact on our community.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Speaker Voss. He's never had a day named after him.
Would you mind taking a picture of us, Rob? Okay, maybe.
So
do a
let's
closer.
get in front of the
Yeah.
podium, and if the trustees would like to come up, let's get the whole group up.
We also have some, we have some letters for the other legislators. They don't get a day like you did, but Dave can.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that we also, via letter, recognized Senator Weingart, Senator Wirch, Representatives Whitkey, and
McGuire.
McGuire as well.
We'll do that later.
And we'll be sending those out. So the next item is introduction of the Microsoft Community Engagement Lead, Kimberly Payne. Kimberly is here, and we just wanted to recognize her and introduce her. Did you want to say a word or two, Maureen?
It's always a pleasure when we get to use the local talent that we have. Kimberly, if you want to step to the podium. Kimberly is the newest addition to Microsoft's employees. She's the community engagement lead. So she is literally here on the ground for any issues related to Microsoft, and it's wonderful to have someone that we can talk to whenever there are any issues related to the new data center. Kimberly.
Thanks so much for that, and thank you for the invitation to attend this meeting. I've been so impressed in the short period of time that I've been on board with Microsoft with just a warm welcome throughout the community, but especially by the Village of Mount Pleasant. I was out here probably about 4 weeks ago dropping off some business cards, and I don't know the woman's name that sits in that bubble, but she gave me the warmest welcome. Then I had the opportunity to have lunch with Maureen and Claude, another warm welcome. And then the list goes on. Coming to this meeting, I was just so impressed coming in at the warmth and the kindness that was displayed towards me as a new person at your meeting. Also, I'm honored to serve in the capacity of Community Engagement Lead for Microsoft. As I said, I came into the role about 2.5 months ago. And it just speaks to Microsoft's commitment to making sure that there is someone from our community, from Racine, went to Case High School, that lives in the community and is familiar with the community on the ground to help do a few things. One part of my role is information sharing. Tonight, I don't have new updates, but as I have updates, I'm hoping that I'm able to come back and share those updates with you. Another part of my role is facilitating connections back to the local community. There will be community engagement events that come up that our firm and I will have a hand in planning to make sure that community voice is included throughout the project, especially in terms of making sure that local residents have an opportunity to ask their questions, to share their concerns, and receive current information throughout the project. As I said before, I live in Racine, from Racine. I'm also the co-owner with my husband of Payne Consulting. That's our firm here in Racine. Community engagement is one of our areas of specialty, along with communications and grant writing. We're committed to making sure that community voice is included in the work that takes place, not only in the city of Racine, but throughout Racine County. So thank you again for such a warm welcome, and I look forward to coming back to share information with you as it becomes available.
Thank you, Kimberly. Unfortunately, we don't have a proclamation to issue.
Give it time, though, Kimberly, give it time.
But we certainly do enjoy hearing your voice. So thank you for attending. So let's move on to public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments on any matter. Please listen for the president to recognize you. State your name and address for the public record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Can we hear from Alfonso Gardner?
Thank you, Village Board. My name is Alfonso Gardner, 1941 Bro M Lane. First of all, I want to thank Maureen for always giving us funds for the summer youth program. We had 108 graduates this year. And I'm not going to say nothing with Speaker Boss. Speaker Boss always talking about money, and you know I need some for the kids, so I'll get to him later. But I'm here today. I'm going to give Microsoft an A+. Really, Microsoft has been talking to me, talking to Kimberly. Now I got to get to Walsh. Walsh got their contract to do the construction. So right now I can't give them no grade because they haven't really spoke to me yet. But I'm gonna make that happen. But Microsoft has been very, very good to us, to this community. Great relationships. They're willing to work with everybody. And I like that. We all got to work together to make things happen. You know, nobody stands alone in this world. We always have to have partners when it comes down to things. And Microsoft is a great partner so far. I'm giving an A+, but Walsh, I can't give him no grade yet. So I want to thank you, Maureen. I want to thank the Village Board, wherever the money comes from. I want to thank y'all.
The Village Board.
Okay, I want to thank you guys. We need a little bit more, I ain't gonna lie. You know, I want to hire, I'm gonna be honest with you, I want to hire 200 kids next year. I really do. Because I'm gonna tell you something, you know, Mr. Voss talked about they need workers. People got to realize the youth of the day is the workers for tomorrow. If we give them some good training, they'll be great workers. We have to give them that opportunity. That's why I'm out here all the time asking for funds. I know the county gives us money, but you know, if we help each other, it'll show that everybody is in tune, trying to make this community better. So I want to thank you, Kimberly. You know where I'm at, so I'll be helping you with Microsoft. And anybody want to give any money, just let me know. Maureen has my number. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I do.
Thank you, Al. Anybody else wish to speak, public comment? Mr. Gardner is the only one that signed up, going once, going twice. Okay, with that, we'll close public comment, and we'll move on to consent agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the items in the consent agenda.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. We can just take a voice vote on this. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that motion carries. So if it pleases the board, I'd like to just go a little bit out of order. I know that we've got a nomination coming up here, but I'd like to get the public hearings out of the way first. So if it's okay with that, I'd like to move into the public hearing. So what we have first then is a public hearing regarding Ordinance 14-2023, which is a zoning map regarding 2116 Old Fancher Road, zoning map amendment ZMA 23-7. Mr. Schultz.
Mr. President, Village Trustees, the applicant applied to amend the zoning map from AG1 Limited Agriculture to RL1, which is low-density residential. The application coordinated with CSM 2311, which you just approved on the consent agenda, which proposed creating a new 3/4 acre lot along Old Fancher Road. The Plan Commission previously reviewed this application in July. However, the applicant decided to reduce the size of, really the width of the lot, to avoid the RE district architectural standards. Neither the Plan Commission nor the village staff recommend any conditions for approval, and both the Plan Commission and the village staff recommend approval for this zoning map amendment.
So I should mention that the following rules apply to the public hearing and to each of the public hearings scheduled for tonight. If you wish to speak, please fill out a public hearing form, which you can find on the table next to the entrance. Once recognized, speakers should come to the podium and identify themselves with their name and address. Please speak clearly into the microphone. Speakers must direct all discussions towards the board. I will not allow interchange between members of the audience and the speaker. Please do not interfere with nor interject comments while another person has the floor. Please keep all comments on the particular item before the board and no longer than 5 minutes. And finally, please turn off or mute all electronic devices. With Mr. Schultz's remarks, now would be when I invite the public to speak, either for or against. I have nobody signed up for speaking on this item. Anybody here in chambers wishing to speak on this item? Zoning map amendment 23-7. Not hearing from anybody, we'll close public comment on that, and we'll move on to the next public hearing.
Actually, we got a motion.
Oh, do we? Okay.
You want to have the motion now? Mr. President, for the item B, I make a motion to approve Ordinance 24-2023, a zoning map amendment for 2116 Old Fancher Road as presented.
Second.
So I hear a motion, second. Is there any discussion from the board on this? Now is your time to speak.
Reviewed a Plan Commission, and this was actually brought back to us. The applicant had recognized he wanted to be in a smaller home size zoning classification, so we're rezoning what we actually rezoned a couple of months ago.
Okay. So I'll call a question on that. Roll call, please.
Anastasio.
Aye.
Bhatia.
Aye.
Washburn.
Aye.
Doxy.
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye, the motion carries. So let's move on to the second public hearing, and that's regarding Ordinance 17-23, amending Section 90-540.40, review and decision-making authority, number 17-2023. Mr. Schultz.
Mr. President, trustees, after multiple solar panel installations, the village staff told the Plan Commission that it would propose some updates to clarify and speed the approval process for those structures. The village staff added solar energy systems under 40 acres as allowable reviews under administrative site plans. As a note, utility companies must provide additional information when installations exceed 100 megawatts, which previously informed a cutoff, but the Plan Commission amended that cutoff from 100 megawatts to 40 acres of land instead, which is reflected in the ordinance in front of you tonight. At the same time, the village staff discussed the effectiveness of the current administrative site plan approval process and recent changes to state law. Timely conversation with Speaker Voss here. With the recent slate of housing bills, the state limited the municipality's denial authority over multifamily buildings which comply with existing zoning codes at the time of application. Thus, the village staff recommends removing those types of approvals from the site plan process, as any review by the Plan Commission would be a rubber stamp only. The village staff also recommends simplifying the language regarding non-material amendments to site plans such as parking, landscaping, lighting, and other changes to sections covered under Article 400 village-wide regulations. Again, modifications to these sections must follow the existing regulations, so any changes in front of the Plan Commission would only be rubber stamps. The village staff kept mixed use and non-residential changes above 5,000 square feet at the Plan Commission level. Cumulatively, these changes should speed the approval process for by right developments while preserving the Plan Commission and village boards politically or statutorily required decisions such as comprehensive plans, land division, zoning map amendments, and zoning text amendments. If approved, the village staff would follow up with proposed changes to the planning fee schedule to ensure the village appropriately charges staff time for more significant developments, such as multifamily building developments that under now, as part of a site plan review process at the staff level, are only charged $250. So we'll have to amend some of those fee structures, which we'll bring back for you in a month or two. With that, both the village staff and the Plan Commission recommend approval of Ordinance 17-2023.
Okay, so at this point, I invite public comments on this. Again, I have nobody signed up to speak publicly regarding this business item. So anybody in chambers wishing to speak? Not hearing anybody. We'll close public comment on that, and then Trustee Boccia, I think, has a motion.
For the item D, Mr. President, I make a motion to approve Ordinance 17-2023, a zoning code amendment to Chapter 90-540.40 pertaining to review and decision-making authority as presented.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second by Anastasio. Thoughts from the board? Comment?
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I just want to add that as Sam just put it on the screen and indicated that we had a good discussion at the Planning Commission level, and the proposed changes will simplify and speed the process of the approval. So I think it's good for the community, and that's the reason that the Planning Commission, after long discussion, and agreed that it should be brought to the village board.
Do you have thoughts?
I would just add to that, and Trustee Boccia is 100% correct, that it will speed the process, which is always good. But I just want to point out to the board that the other good effect of this is, this affects things that the Plan Commission, by state law now, could not deny, okay?
Correct.
So what does this mean? And I think it's just extremely smart from our community development staff that they were on top of this. This will now eliminate the public showing up to Plan Commission thinking the Plan Commission could potentially deny something. Okay, so and that's not good for anyone, because if it's before the Plan Commission or the village board, you may have members of the public saying, what do you mean? You could vote no. Well, no, not by law. You can't. And so, this will avoid that circumstance. And I think that's just a very smart move by our community development department to fix this right away. And I think it's a reflection of how good they are in this community.
Did you have anything, Nancy?
Oh, I agree with Chris completely. That was one of the big parts of the discussion that we had regarding the new laws, regarding some of the items that are in this amendment. And the reality is, we oftentimes have things in front of us that, according to our code, according to the state code, according to whatever we're viewing, we really can't deny because the property owner or the applicant is protected, and it puts us in a difficult spot. It makes us look like we're favoring someone when in fact we're not. We're following the law. I think the other thing that was a big part of our discussion was the village staff adding the solar energy systems originally written under 100 megawatts. The big discussion was, how much is 100 megawatts? Well, when Sam told us how many acres of solar panels that would be, it was like 660 acres of solar panels. We thought we'd like to have a little more control than that. And that's where we took it. We had a great discussion about it among all the members of the committee, and that's where we changed it to the 40 acres. So that one section, if there's a big section being regulated or wanting to be have a solar farm created, that we would want to know about that. So it made sense. It was a good discussion, and we appreciated Sam's patience with us, and also is continuing to help us understand how the law's changed and what that impact is to Plan Commission. So thank you.
Well, I want to thank not only staff, for their diligence on this, but the Plan Commission as well for chewing into a subject that needed to be chewed into.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting.
So very good. So in the matter of Ordinance 17-2023, roll call, please.
Anastasio?
Aye.
Bhatia?
Aye.
Washburn?
Aye.
Doxy?
Aye.
DeGroot?
Aye, the motion carries. So let's revisit new business item G1, which is...
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to confirm the nomination of Jim Venturini to the Village Board of Trustees, seat 6, to fill the unexpired term of office.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. We didn't really have to move this to the end of the meeting, but we wanted to see Mr. Venturini sweat a little bit. And besides, we needed to wait for Carmela, the boss, to show up because she probably wanted to, be in on this as well. So your item is before us, Jim. Did you want to say a few words? Just come up to the podium.
Can we talk about how his glasses match his jacket?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the trustees and Mr. DeGroot, President DeGroot, I should say, for asking me to be part of this. I was born and raised in the city of Racine. I lived in Mount Pleasant with my wife and family for 25 years. Moved downtown Racine and became very involved down there, trying to help them develop downtown Racine into more of a tourist attraction. And I love the city, so I love the area. And now we're back into Mount Pleasant. We moved in last year, almost a year to the date, and I've been involved in a tourism commission, and I look forward to being part of the growth, part of the community, and in the betterment of the community. That's been my main goal ever since I've lived here for a lot of years, I'll just say, and so I really look forward to serving.
I did send a letter out to the trustees. I'm not going to read it because it's going to thoroughly embarrass you because I said some really nice things about you, and we want you to keep a head about you. But we're very much, provided that we do vote you, in the affirmative, we are very much looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your past contributions that you've made at the committee level, and other things that you've been involved in with the village, and we certainly look forward to seeing you active at the trustee level. We think we got a good one.
Yeah.
I echo everything that you said, and the letter that you wrote, it says everything that anyone has to know to learn about Jim. not only you, but your lovely wife. You are a great advocate and residents of not only the Mount Pleasant, the city of Racine, but the whole county. Your contributions are unique and unmatched, and before I even received the letter and read, when I heard your name was being proposed for the, as a nomination for the trustee seat number six, I couldn't be any more thrilled and happier to have you on my side. And so again, I congratulate you, and I congratulate President Dave DeGroot to have the vision to nominate you, because you are a great citizen. Your contribution on the Tourism Commission and much beyond that are appreciable, and we look forward to have your valuable input to help our community grow.
Thank you, Ram.
I think we should read the letter. I'm just kidding.
It's long.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
even longer than the proclamation.
Well, you like me to read those long, moving into closed session thing.
We'll make it available if need be to,
It's in the packet.
I'm just kidding. I have nothing.
all right. Can we?
Could I say something?
Yeah, we
I
need to
just
waste a little bit more time,
Jim,
yeah.
I don't know you well yet, but I look forward to working with you. And I also was impressed by the letter, but I did do a little Googling myself and looked at some things. And so I think that you bring great experience, and I like the fact that, you know, you've lived in Racine as well as Mount Pleasant and have a love for the whole area, and not worrying about, you know, always about the borders. And we hope that we can move forward in working together in all of our communities in the area. And I look forward to working with you on that.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Jim, in my much shorter time here in Mount Pleasant, I've heard and seen you in action, and I am looking forward to working with you on the board.
Thank you. You're all making me blush.
Well, Nancy will read the letter.
No, Jim, I don't know you as well, but I know your name, and I do know how active you've been in both communities and Racine County. And so your commitment to Rotary, your education here, your commitment to your business, it's not easy to take that commitment and segue into public service, because it's very demanding. And we've seen that as, you know, we've run for office or been asked to run over the years. So I agree with all of my colleagues. We're looking forward to working with you, getting to know you. Getting to know you, and also for the acumen you bring to the board. It's really going to be a nice addition for us, and we appreciate your agreeing to join us.
Thank you.
We are really trying to drag this out as long as we can, but, you know, Claude is now pointing at his watch, and so.
It's Claude's birthday. He wants to go have cake.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Should we sing happy birthday to Claude before we vote?
Let's vote first. Let's
Okay,
vote.
okay. So in the matter of the Jim Venturini nomination, roll call, please.
Anastasio.
Aye.
Bhatia.
Big eye.
Washburn.
Aye.
Doxy.
Aye.
DeGroot.
Aye. So that motion carries. Welcome aboard.
Jim?
And we intend to swear you in right now.
The office of Mount Pleasant Village Trustee, seat 6.
Mr. President,
Congratulations, welcome.
Mr. President, when we are done looking at the agenda, in my opinion, we should give Jim the honor to make his first motion to adjourn.
You beat me to the punch.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Would that be nice as a new trustee, first motion to adjourn? Jim, right here.
Trustee Venturini, would you like to take your seat? So you can look forward to having a nameplate at the next meeting. We'll get you one of those. Thank you. And we also put you at the end of the business day, knowing that there was really only one more motion to make. And as your first motion, you can make the last motion of the night.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So there's a motion and a second, and you know, to the benefit of the new trustee, what you did was just motion to adjourn the meeting, which means an affirmative vote means that the meeting is going to end. To anybody that would vote nay means that for some reason we'd have to keep this meeting going longer. But just so that the rules are clarified here, in this one we can do a voice vote. All in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so that motion carries. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.